All right, today I'm going to be comparing the cell, specifically a plant cell, to the city. Again, my name is mrjauregui, so here we go. Cell city. So if you just start off and think about what's in a city, you have businesses, you have city hall, you have post offices, all these different parts in the city to help make the entire city run smoothly. But what do they all do? How does it compare to a cell? So animal and plant cells are also complex just like a city. If you look at here an animal cell, and if you look over here at the plant cell, they may look very much different from each other, but they do have very similar organelles, similar structures inside. So if you take those parts of the cell and those things that make the cell run, you can actually compare them to things that make a city run. So here we go. We're going to take a tour of the cell city. So if the cell was a city, then the cell wall, the cell membrane, would be like the city's borders. In a way, you want to think about the Great Wall of China. Maybe you think about the border between the USA and Mexico. But the cell membrane is just like a barrier where certain things are allowed to go in and certain things are not allowed to go in. The cytoskeleton, if the cell was a city, the cytoskeleton would basically be the framework of the city, the streets, the roads, the cement, the steel beams that hold up the buildings. If the cell was a city, the nucleus of the cell would be like the city hall or the mayor's office. Why? Because the nucleus basically controls the cell and also stores very important information for the cell. If you look at ribosomes are basically where proteins are made. Now, proteins are basically the workhorses in the cell. They are a major product of the cell. So if you thought of maybe Detroit or a major city where they produce cars, for example, then the ribosomes would be comparable to the car factories as you see here in this picture right here. The cell was a city. This organelle called the endoplasmic reticulum would be like the district where all the factories are. And in the case of Los Angeles, maybe the factory district or the fashion district where things are produced. The Golgi apparatus is basically a place where proteins are modified. Once they're modified at the Golgi apparatus, then they're shipped out to wherever they need to go. So in the city, something comparable could be maybe the post office, and that's why I have a picture of a post office truck there, or maybe an auto shop that modifies cars to make them run faster. So the Golgi apparatus. If the cell was a city, the mitochondria would be like the electric company or a power plant. Why? Because the mitochondria produces energy for the cell. You see that here, our power plant. May look familiar. If the cell is a city, and again we're talking about a plant cell, then the chloroplasts in the plant cells would possibly be like the solar panels, maybe on the tops of the roofs of the buildings or the houses, or maybe the renewable energy from the fans. The cell was a city. The lysosome, which basically recycles waste, would maybe be like the dump trucks, the recycling center of the city, or maybe like tree shredders. If the cell was a city, the vacuole, which is a place where water is stored, other molecules are stored in the cell, that would be like a storage center, or maybe like the water supply of the city. And that now concludes my comparison of a plant cell to a city. Thank you.